Hey everybody, Mr. H here. Today I want to show you how to animate a car. So I'm just going to stop this animation and let's create a new file. I'm going to go to File, New, and I'll just use the default settings, hit OK, and I'll hit Command plus to zoom in, and I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'll start to draw a car shape here. Alright, not too worried about how fancy or good or bad my car looks. Okay, so I'm just going to put in some wheel wells here, right here, and over here. So now we're going to speed up the footage here just so that the tutorial doesn't run too long. I'm just going to go ahead and erase this stuff and add in some windows for the cabin of the car. Again, I'm not too worried about my line work. This is just a quick tutorial. So I'll draw in a wheel. I'll just copy and paste that wheel to the back. And then I'll draw in a smaller circle, copy and paste that to the back. Okay, I'll fill those wheels in with the gray, and then I'm going to just draw in some streaks on the tires. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to convert this to a symbol. All right, so the reason I'm going to do that is I want to make this loop over and over again. Okay, so now I can do that by just copying and pasting the frames along the timeline here. And if that's the way you want to do it, it's fine. But I'm going to show you how to do this inside a symbol. Okay, so I'm going to just select the entire car right here. I'll go to Modify and then Convert to Symbol. And then I'll just call this car 1. Make sure that your symbol type is set to graphic and then hit OK. All right, so now we've got this set as a symbol. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the symbol, and now we've gone from our scene level, we've now gone inside the symbol, and we have a new timeline for the car. If we go back to the scene level, you'll see, let's just name this. I'll go name this to car layer. Okay, and then I'll double click on the symbol right here, and now we have a new timeline inside the symbol. Okay, so let's just call this car loop. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from frame 1 to frame 3, and I'm going to insert a keyframe. All right, I'm going to take the car and the windows here. I'm just going to raise it up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit of movement here. And then on the wheels, let's see, I want to select all the wheels here. I'll also raise this up. I'm going to move the pivot point down to the bottom and then raise those wheels up a little bit. Have a little animation in there. Let's do the same thing over here. All right, so now I'm going to move the pivot point down, and I'll move this wheel up as well. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is check the animation going from frame 1 to frame 3. All right, I can see that the car is moving up and down. All right, so now I'm just going to make an adjustment to the streaks on these tires. So I'm going to hit Command plus and zoom in. So I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to just extend the streaks right here. Just add a little bit, just change it just a tiny bit. Okay, maybe add in another line here. Just kind of extend this out a little bit. Just change it slightly. Okay. I'll do the same thing on the back wheel here. I'm just going to extend this out. Maybe change it a little bit here. Just change the line slightly. Just a little bit of variation. So now, let's take a look. I'll go back and forth between these. You can see there's a little bit of change there, and it just gives it a little more interest there, okay? So now, what I can do is I can go back to the scene level. So I'll go from car 1 to scene 1, right? And now if I hit return or if I hit enter, it's not going to play anything. That's because we only have one keyframe on the timeline. So I'm going to extend this out to maybe say frame 60. I'll just right click over here and go to insert frame. Okay, so now if I go back and press enter or return, you can see there's the loop. Okay, so the loop looks a little bit funny though. So let's go back inside that symbol and let's take a look at what's going on. So I'm going to double click here. All right, so now I'm back inside. I'm on the car loop. And what we have here is we have two different keyframes, and it's looping. It's going 1, 2, 3, and then back to 1. What we need is an additional frame over here so that it will loop evenly. So I'm going to right click and go to Insert Frame. All right, so now it will hold for 2 frames on each of these drawings. All right, so now I'm going to go back to the scene level. I'll scroll back to frame 1 here and press return and play it. So now it's playing a little bit more naturally. All right, so we've got our car layer done. Now what we want to do is add in something on the ground in the background so that it looks like the car is driving forward. All right, so I'm going to create a new layer here, and I'll drag that below the car layer, and I'm going to double click and call this background, BG for background, okay? So over here, I'm just going to draw in, let me change the color, and I'm going to draw in just like a lane marker or something in the middle of the road. Okay, so I'll draw that in, and then I'm just going to copy and paste it. So I hit Command C, Command V, and I'm going to line it up here. Hit Command V again. And I'm just going to copy and paste these items until I have a long, thin strip going actually past the canvas. Okay, because I'm going to be animating this background element. Okay. All right, so now we have a whole bunch of these, and I'm kind of looking at the spacing here. I think I want to move these over a little bit. Okay. All right, so let me select all of these now and convert those to a symbol. We'll make sure it's a graphic. We'll call this road. Okay. And now what I want to do is go inside this symbol, and I'll see, we'll count out maybe to, maybe go to frame 9, and I'll insert a keyframe here. And then I'm just going to hold down Shift and slide this over. And then I want to right click in between these two keyframes and go to Create Classic Tween. So now when I play this, you can see it moving here. All right, so let's see it loop. I'll go from the road, I'm inside that road symbol. I'm going to go back to scene 1, and I'm going to just play it like this. You can see now we have the effect of the road moving. The car's moving down the road. Okay, so then we can see here these two symbols are going to loop continuously. So if you just select the symbol and you go to your properties over here, you can see that the options for looping are just set to loop. Okay, so if you don't want something to loop, you can turn it off here, but the default is set to loop. Okay, so as long as there are frames on the timeline, it will loop whatever is inside that symbol continuously forever. So if we want to extend this out or shorten it, we can. So I can take these frames and move them forward here, and it will loop longer. Okay. All right, so now let's say I'm going to undo that, and I want to just plus this a little bit. I want to make this look a little bit nicer. So I'm going to go inside the symbol here, inside the symbol, and I'm going to take the car and I'm going to just push it forward here. All right, so let me move the pivot point down to the bottom here. And I'm just going to watch my cursor change as I go over this line right here. I'm just going to push it forward, lean it forward. It's going to give it a better effect as if it's moving fast. All right, so now I'm going to go to the second keyframe here and do the same thing. I want to just move this forward. And I'll just turn on my onion skin just so I can see the two together. Okay. All right, so let's turn that off now. We'll go back to the scene level, and let's see. Okay, so now let's say we want the car to stop. What we'll do is we'll add in some new keyframes here. So I go to Insert Keyframe here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these apart. So I go to Modify, Break Apart. Okay, so now let's see. I'll take these, and I'm just going to move them over a little bit. And then I'll put in another keyframe here. And I'm just going to move that over a little bit more. Okay. And then over here, let's see, we'll take the car. And let's see, I'm going to select the car here. I want to go to my transform. And we want to now take the lean. It's leaning forward. We want to take the lean back a little bit here. And then we'll put in another keyframe. And we'll bring it all the way back. Oops, let's move that pivot point. We'll bring it all the way back to normal there. All right, so now when we play this whole thing, we get the car stopping. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this tutorial. If you're interested in learning more about moving vehicles, I'm going to have a whole series of these tutorials on my channel. Also, if you are interested in the stick figure walk cycle, I have a longer version of that tutorial as well on my channel. So please check the link in the description below. That'll take you directly to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.